everybody? Cinema Sickness here with your daily sickness video, and happy Tuesday to each and every one of you. Not doing any hunting today. The weather is still very crappy outside. Rainy, icy, cold, crappy. Today's just a stay indoors kind of day. Not going to do any hunting. Though tomorrow, I do plan on going out and doing some hunting, even if the weather's crappy. I got to get out. I got to do at least some hunting. Really want to hit up Walmart. I heard some good stuff about some movies showing up there, so probably going to hit up Walmart tomorrow. That's the plan. Not sure if I'll hit up anywhere else, but we'll see. So maybe a hunting video or something for you guys tomorrow involving Walmart. We'll see. But anyway, what do I have for you guys today? I have reviews for you guys today. Yes, again, bringing back reviews. My last week I did a review video. You guys said you loved it. You welcomed it. You said you're so happy that I bring it back my review video. So here's another one for you guys. And again, before we get into this, warning, spoilers. There might be spoilers. I don't stop myself from talking about spoilers. If I want to mention something that happens to be a spoiler, I'm going to talk about it. So fair warning to you guys, they might come. We'll see. Anyways, let's get right down to it. So first highlight I checked out was Earth to Echo. And this was mediocre. This is really a modern day kind of... best way to describe this one, in my opinion, found footage E.T. That's what this is. This is a found footage E.T. movie. This movie is basically E.T., but instead of just, filming it, it's done with found footage. It's people filming stuff on their cell phones and glasses that have a camera in it. It's these kids, they find an alien, they're trying to protect him, they're trying to build his spaceship back up, send him back home, because, E.T., go home, and of course, the government's swooping in and trying to get the alien, because they want to study him, and yada, yada, yada. But no, the kids are determined to get this alien back home and save him, and it's E.T. It is E.T., just with found footage. So a found footage, modern day E.T., and that's it. Unfortunately, I bought this using a gift card. I had a gift card to Target, bought a whole bunch of stuff. This is one of the titles I bought. After watching this one, really wish I would have spent the money on, or used the gift card on something else other than this. I wish I would have just waited till I happened to come across this for $5 somewhere down the line, because that's really all this movie is worth. Was it bad? No, this was not a bad movie. It just wasn't anything special. If I ever want to watch this movie again, I'll just put E.T. in, because it's a much better watch in my opinion. So not a bad movie. If you want to see it, check it out. It's not like it's bad. It's just kind of pointless because it's E.T. So yeah, if you want to just see E.T. all over again, but modernized and found footage E, then check it out. Otherwise, stay away. You don't need to see this one. But hey, if you want to, I'd say it's at least worth checking out if you really want to see it. Earth to Echo, it's just mediocre. Alright, so next thing I checked out was The Life Aquatic with Zissou. Very happy I checked this out for the second time. This is my second time ever watching this. First time I ever watched it was back in 2004 when this movie came out. I remember renting it from Blockbuster Video, checking it out because I heard such good things. Two problems with 2004. Problem number one was the fact that I watched this movie very late at night. I think it was after midnight I watched this movie. I was extremely tired, really forcing myself to stay awake for this one. That was problem number one. It's never good to watch a movie when you're dead tired. Always a bad idea. Take a nap first, then watch the movie. Problem number two is the fact that back in 2004, I was really picky about my movies. I started collecting in 2001, and even by 2004, I maybe started to branch a little bit, but even back then, I was still kind of picky about what I was buying. I was buying things I knew I liked, buying movies I've seen before, I knew I liked, buying stuff that maybe was put out by a director or at least starred somebody that I knew I really enjoyed, something like that. I was more careful with what I bought. I wasn't really blind buying things too much. I was really buying stuff that I knew I liked. And because of that, my taste in movies, I hadn't really broadened my horizons and broadened my taste in movies. I was very picky about the types of movies I liked. I only liked certain genres, certain actors, certain directors. It was kind of stupid. Of course, over the years, I've broadened my horizons, and now I love all sorts of movies and all kinds of genres I never used to watch, and all sorts of directors. And I'm a fan of pretty much every type of movie out there, every genre. There's at least something within that genre that I probably enjoy. So I'm much more open to movies now. And back when I saw this in 2004, I didn't care for it too much because it's a Wes Anderson movie, and they tend to be very artsy, very tongue-in-cheek, and if you're just not very open to movies, you're probably not going to necessarily really get into them, really enjoy them. Plus, again, I was really tired. So all those things combined, it was just a horrible combination for sitting down and watching this movie. And I really didn't enjoy it the first time I saw it, unfortunately. Of course, years later, as the years progressed on, I started to watch more and more Wes Anderson movies and really enjoy the hell out of them. And I knew I had to give this one a second chance because I knew the second time around I was going to absolutely love this movie, and I certainly did. Loved the absolute hell out of this the second time around. It's a fantastic Wes Anderson movie. It's great. Again, very kind of artsy, very tongue-in-cheek, very funny at times. I love this film. It was great. If you like Wes Anderson movies, there's absolutely no reason not to see this one. But of course, this is one of his most well-known movies, so chances are, if you like his movies, you've probably seen this. And it's great if you haven't. So check it out, Life Aquatic. I loved this film. It's great. So glad I finally got around to checking it out for a second time. It was a long time coming. I can't believe I waited almost 10 years to like rewatch this, or actually over 10 years to rewatch this movie. That's pretty ridiculous. Finally rechecking it out, and it's fantastic. I love it. Okay, yeah, all right. Then I watched, unfortunately, Frankenstein 3D. Yes, I watched this movie in 3D. One redeeming quality of this film: the 3D. The 3D was actually really good. I gotta say, as soon as the movie started up, I kind of was taken back. I was like, wow, this looks really nice. 3D, fantastic in this movie. Everything else, complete garbage. The acting, mediocre. The story, kind of pointless and bad. Aaron Eckhart, why just doesn't seem to fit. Not a very good movie. The movie takes place after the classic telling of Frankenstein, where Frankenstein creates the monster kills Frankenstein's wife, and then Frankenstein hunts down the monster, and then Frankenstein dies, but in this case the monster picks him up and buries him back in his like ancestral home, and that's when things get really weird. There's gargoyles, and there's demons, and there's this like plot to take humans and possess their souls by bringing them back to life, as Frankenstein was, and it's just weird because Frankenstein, I'm saying it now, the Frankenstein monster, or should I say Adam, they name him in this movie. His name is Adam in this movie. Yes, the Frankenstein monster, they give him a name. They give him the name of Adam. What the hell? Was that really necessary? When they said that, I was just like, what? Like, why can't they just call him like it, or the monster, or the creature? Why do they gotta call him Adam? It's like they really have to give him a name. Anyway, so the demons want to like find out how Frankenstein monster Adam was created, because he doesn't have a soul. He was brought back to life, but without, like a man, but without a soul. And they want to get these demons, these dead humans. They want to bring them back to life, and then possess those demons possess those humans with demons, because you can't possess somebody who has a soul. So they take all these dead humans, bring them back to life. They don't have souls. You possess them, and now they can like reign the earth and kill off humans. And it's just like, okay, whatever. This wasn't that good. I mean, it sounds kind of interesting, but it really wasn't. It just wasn't told well. The story, it just was one of those things where after you watch, you just kind of go, oh, all right, I saw that. Like, it really didn't stick with me. It really didn't. It just seemed very mediocre. I think the story might have been told a little differently. Maybe it could have been pretty cool, but in the end, it was just very eh. That was the best way to describe this movie. You just watch it, and you kind of just go, okay. This is not something you need to see. I went in this one hearing it was bad, and that was the absolute truth. It was not a good film, unfortunately. I was hoping, from the producers of Underworld. I like Underworld. I thought maybe it's gonna be like an Underworld, maybe like Van Helsing type thing going on, and it wasn't anything like that at all. I like both those movies. I did not care much for this one. So no, don't see I, Frankenstein. There's no reason to. It was garbage. I say stay away. But if you are going to see it, or you are going to pick this one up, just grab it in 3D if you have a 3D TV, obviously. At least grab it in 3D. You can get this for pretty cheap on 3D. A lot of websites and stores have the 3D version for pretty cheap, probably because the movie's garbage and nobody wants it. That's why it's so cheap. At least pick it up in 3D, because I gotta say, the 3D did look really nice. I was taken back. I was surprised how well the 3D was done. I almost think they went, wow, this movie sucked. What were we thinking? Well, let's at least pump some money into the 3D, at least make it look really good. That's my opinion. I don't know. So 3D was nice. Story was garbage. If you are going to get it, at least get the 3D version so you have something to look forward to. Next thing I checked out was the complete 8th season of King of Queens. And what do I have to say about this that I haven't said about the first 7 seasons? Absolutely nothing. As I said before, it's a decent sitcom. It's not my favorite sitcom, but it's very funny. Still, it's enjoyable. If you love early 2000s sitcoms, see King of Queens. I enjoy it. I've been enjoying it for the last 8 seasons, and I'm going to continue to enjoy it. It's a good series. Just, again, nothing mind-blowing. Not my favorite sitcom ever, but still very enjoyable nevertheless. Next, I checked out a movie that people seem to either go like one of two ways. Either people seem to love this movie or hate this movie, and that is Angry Video Game Nerd, the movie. Now, here's my theory. I know a lot of you guys are going to say, no, you're wrong about this, but it's just kind of my theory for maybe most people. I don't know. This movie, I think the people who don't like this movie, I think the reason why they don't like it is because this movie, in my opinion, is more of an homage to cinema as opposed to an homage to video games. Yes, this is the Angry Video Game Nerd movie, but this is a thing with James Rolfe that I think people don't realize a lot about. James Rolfe, the Angry Video Game Nerd, he's not necessarily a gamer. He fell into being the nerd. He did a video talking about Castlevania 2, and people liked it. He started doing more videos, and he kind of just it exploded and blew up, and he just got a huge fan base and started making money off this, and it's what he's known for now. He's known as the Angry Video Game Nerd. But really, when it comes down to it, James Rolfe is a film buff. He's a lover of films. He went to school for films when he was a kid. He was always constantly making movies. He loves movies. This guy is obsessed with films, whereas video games are more of just a hobby. It's something he enjoys, but he kind of, again, sort of fell into being the Angry Video Game Nerd. Even you hear him talk about his childhood. He basically says, like, he didn't have a huge game collection. He really borrowed a lot of the games off his neighbor Mike. You know, he borrowed games a lot from him. And it just seems like he wasn't really, like, super passionate about video games. He enjoyed video games. He grew up with video games. He's like me. If you want to talk about video games, we can. I grew up with video games. I played them. I liked video games. I still, I don't really play video games anymore, but I still enjoy them. I can certainly talk to you about video games if you wanted to, but when it comes down to it, I love film, and that's the same way with James. He loves film. He's always collected films. He's getting shot films with the school for film. He loves films. He's a film buff first, a video game nerd second. And this movie shows that, in my opinion. This movie really shows his love for cinema, his love for film, as opposed to his love for video games. I think that may be what turned people off on this movie, why a lot of people didn't like it. People were expecting more of what they get out of, like, a 15, 20-minute review from him. They really expected him to just be video games, like down your throat. And they wanted just a straight up hardcore, we love video games movie. Whereas I would say this movie was kind of like, hey, I like video games. They're neat. Let's base the movie off that. But hey, guys, this is what I love. I love making films, and I love films. And here's a ton of winks and nods to other movies within this movie. There's tons of that going on constantly in this film. I really think it shows that he is love for film in this movie. And I think that's maybe what turned some people off. They just weren't really expecting that. But as somebody who absolutely loves film, obviously, I loved the hell of this movie. I thought it's great. I love all the winks and nods and all the homages to other movies. I love that it really shows his passion for film. And I love the fact that it was two people getting together and making this movie. They put all their time, their effort, their energy, their money, their lives into making this, which was very difficult. It's not easy to get something like this done. And they stuck with it. They got it finished. And that's fantastic. I totally understand why he made it the Angry Video Game Nerd movie. You might as well. You're gonna get more of a fan base watching this one and buying this one and into this one if you base it around a character who's very popular that you do. I get that, but really I'd say this is more of something that shows off how much he loves film as opposed to something that shows off his love for video games. It's not so much that. So I think maybe that's what turned people off. I don't know. I loved it. This is my second time seeing this movie. I saw it back when they showed it at the Colonial Theater for it was the East Coast premiere at the Colonial Theater, which is a couple towns over from me, where they shot The Blob. I loved it then. I thought it was great. It was really cool being there, seeing him, talking about the movie. They did a Q&A afterwards, everything like that. It was awesome. Loved the movie then. Loved it the second time. Definitely had to pick this one up. Hopefully, I don't know if it's still out of print or not. or not out of print, but sold out. I know this sold out very quickly on Amazon. Luckily, I got my copy. So very awesome. I love this movie. If you're a film buff, see it. But really, I think you kind of got to be not only a film buff, but you don't see. I don't think you need to be necessarily a video game buff to get this one. But you at least have to like the Angry Video Game Nerd. You have to like his series. Plus, you got to really like films, in my opinion, to really get into this one, I guess. But I loved it. I thought it was great. I'd say see it, but it is only kind of for a select few people who are gonna really enjoy this one. This movie isn't for everybody. It's all I can say. It's not for everybody. But if this seems like your thing, see it. I love it. I think it's worth checking out. Oh, one last thing I want to say. I was a little disappointed, and I was worried about this when this Blu-ray came out. Was the compression on it? It's a single disc Blu-ray, but with a boatload. It says over 10 hours of bonus content. They're not joking. There's a lot of bonus content on here, and I gotta say, I wasn't thrilled with the picture quality. It was great. It was fine. It wasn't bad. I'm not saying I watched it going, oh god, this looks horrible. I just think it could have been a bit crisper for Blu-ray, in my opinion. And like none of the special features were like in high definition. Like they were all very. You pause it, boom, pixels everywhere. So I gotta say the compression rate on this wasn't all that fantastic. This probably should have been a 2-disc release, maybe movie and commentary and all that stuff on 1 disc, and then all the bonus features on the 2nd disc. That's how this probably should have been. It is what it is. I'm not saying it looks bad. I'm not saying it's not worth picking up because of that. It's not, but probably should have been a 2-disc release, in my opinion. So then I checked out Longwood Gardens, My Friend's Garden. This is with Dr. Richard Lately. This is an okay little, I'll say documentary, or whatever you want to call this one. Dr. Richard Lately is a botanist. He was a botanist at Longwood Gardens. That's where he studied and worked. He knew Pierre S. DuPont because he's been going ever since he was a little kid. Plus, working there, he knew Pierre S. DuPont before he died, who created Longwood Gardens. And he basically just talks about the gardens, his time working there, what he loves about the gardens, all the different types of gardens, interviews a few people. It's okay. He does that for 25 minutes, and then it's over. It's not very long. It's just kind of like, all right, worth checking out if you're really into Longwood Gardens, but nothing you need to see. This isn't really worth picking up, in my opinion, unless you're some big fan of Longwood Gardens. I mean, I love Longwood Gardens. I'm obsessed with Longwood Gardens. My 2 favorite places in the world, number 1 being Disney World, number 2 being Longwood Gardens. I love going to Longwood Gardens. I know I joke with my wife. I'm like, it's the Disney World of horticulture. It's flowers, bushes, trees, shrubbery, all kinds of stuff like that. All kinds of different plants and stuff like that, for acres and acres and acres and acres and acres, and it's beautiful. I love going there. It's fantastic. I'm a member. I'm a yearly member every year. I love going. So for me, this was somewhat enjoyable, but in the end, it was just kind of like, all right, whatever. I probably won't watch this one again. There's a better DVD if you do go to Longwood Gardens. I recommend getting this one. It's called Longwood Gardens: The First 100 Years. It's an absolutely fantastic documentary about Longwood Gardens. It's brilliant. It really goes into depth. It's fantastic. Check that one out. Worth your money. Even if you go to Longwood Gardens only once, go to the gift shop, pick it up. It is really cool. Worth checking out. Loaded with bonus features too. Definitely worth seeing and buying. There's also a documentary all about Pierre S. DuPont you can get at the gift shop too. That's really good as well if you're looking to pick up another DVD. That is worth getting as well. But I would say if you're going to just get 1 DVD from the gift shop, pick up the Longwood Gardens: The First 100 Years. That's the one worth getting. And if you want to get 2, get the Pierre S. DuPont one. And this one, you don't really need to pick up, in my opinion. It's not really worth getting. Next thing I checked out was Mud. And I've been putting this one off for a little while, not for any specific reason, just because I just hadn't got around to seeing it. Glad I finally checked it out. Just as fantastic as I heard so many people say this movie was great when this movie came out, and I would have to agree. It was great. I love the hell of this one. Matthew McConaughey was fantastic in it. Really, there's this really well-told story. And, the basic core is these 2 kids befriending Matthew McConaughey, this outlaw. But when it gets down to it, there's so much more going on and so much more being said in this movie. And I just thought it was great. Extremely well done. I'm not going to go into the plot too much, but it is fantastic. Certainly worth seeing. There you go. 5 stars from Orlando Weekly. I agree, Orlando Weekly. 5 stars indeed. See this movie. It was great. I loved it. I'm sure many of you have heard fantastic things, and those fantastic things are correct. This is a really well done movie. Check out Mud. Little bit of spoiler here, so bear with me, but I wonder if the ending was changed, because I find it kind of weird that Matthew McConaughey gets shot, and you're like, oh, is he alive or is he dead? And you don't really know, but okay. But then, you see his body, floating through the water, and it's like, okay, at that point you're like, I'm pretty sure he's dead. I mean, because the uncle, the one kid, is under the water, you know, diving for stuff, and he sees like the Matthew McConaughey's body like floating by, and it's not like he's just like floating on like floating down the river on his back or something. No, he's like in underwater. Like he had to have drowned. It looks like. But then at the end of the movie, Matthew McConaughey is like on the boat, you know, sailing to the ocean. It's like, oh, did they change it? Did they kind of go, ooh, you know, the crowd's not gonna like that Matthew McConaughey died. Maybe we should change it, make him alive. You know, like we did with Willard. Willard falls and dies. He gets eaten by his rats. Oh no! People liked Willard too much. We're gonna make sure he's alive at the end of the movie. Something like that. I don't know. Did they do that? Does anybody know? Because it sure as hell looked like he was dead to me until all of a sudden he's alive. I don't know. So a little bit of spoiler there. Sorry. But I enjoyed it. See it. It's a great movie. Check out Mud. You won't be disappointed. I love the hell of that movie. Then a documentary here. Checked out NWO, The Revolution. Again, as I said before, not some like giant fan of wrestling or anything like that, but I certainly enjoy learning about it, and I've enjoyed all the wrestling documentaries I've seen thus far. This is pretty good. I did enjoy this documentary. It wasn't the best documentary. It's only, I think, like an hour long. Not the best of the documentaries I've seen WWE put out. It was good, but again, not the best done one. There's much better ones out there. Also, a lot of the footage in here is the same footage they show in the Rise and Fall of the WCW. If you've seen that, you're going to see like maybe 25 or more % of the footage they show in here. It's a lot of the same stuff because they do talk a lot about the NWO in the Rise and Fall of the WCW, which makes sense. It's a big part of the history. So I talk about a lot in that documentary, and then, of course, now we have a whole documentary just on that. But it is definitely interesting. I really didn't know much about the NWO at all, because, again, I'm not really into wrestling. So it was interesting. I enjoyed it. Well-done documentary. I would say it's worth picking up. If you're into wrestling, it is worth picking up. Again, not my favorite of all the documentaries, but better than some other ones I've seen, and still absolutely fantastic. So, decent documentary. NWO The Revolution. It is worth picking up and check it out if you're into wrestling. I actually enjoyed this one. And then, actually, I would say last but not least, I actually have one other title I'll talk about after this, but show this one off. This is the last title that I've recently watched, and that is Ninja Turtles, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 3D. I actually really enjoyed this movie. This is my second time seeing this one. Saw it in the theaters in 2D and now rewatched it in 3D. It looked great in 3D, by the way. I like this movie. I wasn't quite sure what to think about it when I was going into it. I remember going to theaters, and I forget what it was. It was a choice between this and something else. My friend went to see it, and I'm like, let's see Turtles. I gotta see this movie. I grew up with the Ninja Turtles. I was a huge Ninja Turtle fan. I still do love Ninja Turtles, and I had to see this movie. Had to see what it was all about. Was it going to be any good? Was it going to hold up? Or was it just going to be complete garbage? And was I going to be so disappointed? So we went and saw it, and I really enjoyed it. I had a fun time with this one in the theaters, and second time around, this time in 3D, I had even more fun with it. This is a decent movie. I actually really enjoy this one. They do change up the typical story that you're very much used to. They do change the story up a bit. Sure, they're not aliens. Oh, and that's only one of the bad things with this movie is when they make the joke about aliens, about them being aliens. Vernon makes the joke about, like, oh, so were they aliens? And I had to roll my eyes when they do that. April O'Neil's like, no, that'd be stupid. It's just like, okay, we get it. You were going to make them aliens, the fans flipped out, and you took that back and changed the story up so they weren't aliens anymore. Okay, so, like, just the reference is really cheesy. That's like the only downfall of this whole movie is that reference. I'm like, oh, I hate when that like little like line comes up. It's a 2-second line, but I hate it. Otherwise, the movie's great. I really actually enjoy this one. Now, with that being said, I still enjoy the original Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles movie a million times more. I mean, that movie's fantastic. See that movie. It's dark, gritty, edgy. See that movie. It's great. But I actually think this one's really well done as well. I loved it. I would say definitely pick this one up. Check it out. If you're a fan of the Turtles, it is something you should definitely see. I really actually enjoy this one. I say that because I am kind of surprised. I kind of went in this one, like I said, not really knowing what to expect, but kind of thinking the worst. I gotta say, I was a little bit pessimistic going into this one when I saw it in theaters. I was like, we'll see. Let's hope they don't screw this one up too bad. And then I walked out going, that was fun. That was a fun movie. I actually really liked it. I definitely wanted to pick it up when it came out on Blu-ray. And here you go. I got the 3D Blu-ray. So again, I enjoyed it. I would say it's worth checking out if you're a Turtles fan. It is worth seeing. I actually really enjoyed this one. I'm looking forward to a sequel. I definitely want to see where they go from this. So will they bring Shredder back? I don't know. Who knows? But I'm looking forward to seeing where they go from this one. I enjoyed it. Thought it was great. I know there are some mixed reviews on this one, but see it. I would say see it. It's a fun movie. It's nothing mind-blowing. It's nothing great. It's, again, it's not as good as the original, but it is still well done and definitely worth seeing in my opinion. I love it. And then one more quick title I'll talk about here that I can't physically hold up and show you, and that's because I only have an ultraviolet digital copy of it, and I actually watched this one last week, but I completely forgot to talk about it in last week's review video, and that is American Hardcore, which is all a documentary all about American hardcore music, and it's pretty cool, very interesting. It talks all about like early hardcore, Minor Threat and Black Flag and bands like that. Very cool. Really well done documentary. I'd say the only downfall is the fact that they really only cover like the beginning of hardcore, because it's not like hardcore music died. They basically say that scene died, like that style of hardcore, that scene died out, and that's true. That's where they leave off. They talk about how it began, all the different bands, again, like Black Flag and Minor Threat and Bad Brains and stuff like that. They talk about all these great bands that I absolutely love. They talk about all those bands, how they came to be formed, all the different members and where they're all from, and how the scene really rose and everything like that, and then basically how it died off, and then they kind of stopped talking about it, which is fine and all, because I guess it really talked about early hardcore, but it's the movie should be called like Early American Hardcore, or like the American Hardcore, the beginning, or something like that, because hardcore music didn't die. It's still around to this day. Hardcore music is still around. It sounds different. It's not the same as early hardcore, but it's still hardcore music. It just evolved. I mean, all music has. Punk nowadays sounds a lot different than 77 punk. Things change. Rock and roll music sounds a hell of a lot different than early rock. Rap sounds a lot different now than early rap. Everything evolves, sounds different. But hardcore is the same thing. Hardcore music is still around, still going, and I kind of wish they would have like talked more, about that, how it evolved into what it is now. That would have been interesting, but really it just talks about the early days of hardcore and like the basically the rise of hardcore, and then how that scene died off, and then the movie's over. So it is worth checking out if you're into hardcore music, like an early hardcore music, like Minor Threats and Black Flag and Bad Brains and stuff like that. If you're into that type of music, it is worth checking out. I did think the documentary was fairly well done, definitely decent. And again, if you're into that type of music, it is worth seeing. So anyway, guys, there you go. That's it. So lots of good stuff checked out this week, with the exception of Frankenstein. That wasn't very good. And Earth to Echo, like I said, it was basically just a modern day found footage version of E.T. So if you really want to see it, I guess see it. But otherwise, just watch E.T. It's a much better film. But really the only one I'm going to say definitely stay away from is Frankenstein. It was just a horrible, horrible movie. But if you're going to get it, at least get it in 3D, because the 3D looked pretty good. So anyway, guys, that's it. That's everything. So like I always say, if you like this video, please give me a like. Click the thumbs up icon. It takes 2 seconds, but it means the world to me. I'd really, really appreciate it. Also, if you're not already subbed, please do. I do a brand new daily sickness video for you guys every single day, showing off what I picked up, showing off unboxings, my collection, reviews, all kinds of stuff. You get a brand new video from me every single day, so definitely subscribe. I'd really appreciate it. Plus little bonus videos sprinkled in here and there throughout the year. So definitely do that. It means a lot to me as well. Also, if you're not already over at cinemasickness.com, head on over there, check it out. There's a lot more to see there than just these videos. Link down below. I post all kinds of up-to-date information on what I'm currently up to, up-to-date information on deals that I find that are going on, and all sorts of great things like that. And while you're there, be sure to check out Team Sickness as well. Just click the little Team Sickness icon. Check out everything from them. If you like my videos, you're going to like their videos as well. And also, be sure to click on the merchandise tab and purchase yourself a Cinema Sickness sticker, a Cinema Sickness button, or a Cinema Sickness t-shirt. I would really appreciate the support. And you can find links to all my social media sites, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, Listia, Amazon, everything. It's all there at cinemasickness.com. So that's it, guys. Thanks for watching. I will see you tomorrow. Have a great Tuesday, and I'll see you all tomorrow on Wednesday, Hump Day. See you then, guys. Bye.